What is up guys, Thoại here, and today we're going to be talking about easy champions and how actually playing easy champions can let you climb faster. Now I've been streaming a lot more recently. I'm doing an unranked to diamond series, and when I play support and top lane I don't really have many champions, so I've been playing Annie and Gangplank a lot. Now every time I play these champions I always get flamed by the enemy team for playing an easy champ or a no skill champ, and honestly there's just nothing wrong with doing that. Like, if all you care about is winning, right, why would you not take the easiest route to doing it? In a couple of my last videos I said two of the biggest things to climbing is win conditions and maining champions. Now maining champions we mean like learn the champion, their combos, how to be effective on them and how to win with them. When you play these easier champions it's just way quicker when you're doing all these things. It's quicker to learn their combos because they're not very complicated, and because of that it's always easier to be more effective on them or more consistent, I guess, and also the win conditions are simpler. If we think about Annie for example, like her win conditions in lane you're just gonna stun people at the right time to trade, and that's very basic, and in the mid game you flash ult people and you win team fights that way. Like, you don't have to be a god, like even Foxtrot could do that. I mean, come on, if he can do it then you can do it. This is kind of the point of the video. You don't have to play a very difficult champion to have a high impact and win games. So if all you care about is getting that new rank quickly or beating your friends to diamond or something like that, then easier champions take less time to learn and are way easier to have an impact in the game. Obviously this isn't all just good, right? They have a lowest skill ceiling, but they also have a lowest skill floor as well. Now what I mean a skill ceiling is like the more you play a champion, the better you get with them, the more you can do. So these are like Vayne and Syndra for example, where the more you play with them, the more effective you're going to be. Skill floor is kind of the point of being useful on a champion. So below this level, below that floor, you don't really have an impact in the game. So if we look at two mid laners, right, we're going to look at Annie and Syndra, and they're kind of the complete opposite between an easy champion and a difficult champion. So on Annie you have 3 damage abilities, right, and they're relatively long cooldowns. So once you've used them you have a lot of time to then decide what you're going to do next. With Syndra, she has 4 damage abilities, a short cooldown Q that you're going to be using often, 3 skill shots and an ultimate nuke. The ultimate also relies on how many balls you have on the floor, your Q, and if you miss your Q you're kind of useless, if you miss your E you're kind of useless, and if you ult too early you're kind of useless as well. I'm sure you can kind of guess where that was going, right? But basically the Annie has a low skill ceiling because there's only so much you can do in a fight, but she has a low skill floor because it's really hard to mess up on her. With Syndra though, she has a really high skill ceiling, which means that you can have a really big impact in team fights, but you also can have a really crappy impact in team fights and mess everything up. So not only are these easy champions like easy to play, but they allow you to focus more on the decisions that you're making, like what you should be doing and when and why, and are way more reliable and consistent. We said before that they take less time to learn, and this is why they are awesome as filler champions for your other roles. Remember when I said that you want to make a champion pool, you should always have at least 1 or 2 champions in other roles that you don't main? Well, these easy champions are really good to pick up for those other roles. Like, the reason they're so good in these filler roles is because you can apply your knowledge you have around the game without really needing the mechanics on that champion to be so good. So far, easy champions look amazing, right? And why would you ever play a harder champion? Well, there are plenty of reasons. So the first one is if you get behind, you can't really outplay as easily. Like, you have basic abilities, there isn't really a way you can pull off something amazing because there's only really one way of doing something. So for example, like an Irelia can outplay with her dashes and stun and kill you even if she's behind and weaker, but Garen can only silence you and spin, and well, if he's weaker then you're just going to kill him while he does it. Harder champions can often carry harder, I guess with the same kind of lead they're going to be more effective and more dangerous, but it's just higher risk and higher reward. Going back to the other example, if you're an amazing Garen player then you probably won't carry as hard as an amazing Irelia player, but in theory you shouldn't have as many bad games either. So that pretty much sums up why you play an easy champion. You can get to a higher rank than you would be playing harder champions because your knowledge is way more important than your mechanics. You'll also do it a lot quicker, so if all you care about is climbing to the next rank as quickly as possible, then maybe just refine your champion pool down and throw a couple of easy champions in there as well. That is going to be all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.